may very well be the stupidest video I've ever filmed. But here we go. So I had an idea the other day, and I put it up on Instagram. I'm like, got an idea, might not work. Anyway, give me a random word. Didn't give anyone any context of what it was for, and the random words just came flooded in. And when I started reading them, I was like, oh shit, this idea really might not work. But then I found determination. I wanted, without you knowing, for me to recommend a book given from the prompt of the word that you gave me. That was a great sentence, 10 out of 10. For some of them, it just made sense. Like fire. I'm sure we can all think of something with fire in the title or something to do with fire. Those were easy words. But you lot, Girth? Really? Really? Girth? I like your thinking. Some of them I've had to stretch for the imagination, but here we go. I think I have around 27 or something, 20 odd recommendations from a prompt that you gave me without knowing that you were giving me prompts. Okay, here we go, and I'll give you a very quick summary of each one. Shall we get into it? Okay. So the first word I received was pigeon. Now I thought pigeon, pigeon, pigeon. Don't really think that there's many books where pigeons play a major role. However, there are a lot of pigeons in London. Hold on, keep up with me. A lot of pigeons in London, so let's think of a book that's set in London. And I'm going to recommend The Amulet of Samarkand by Jonathan Stroud, which is book 1 in the Bartimaeus trilogy. It's very good. It's about a magician who lives in London. He's very young and he summons a genie who literally doesn't give a crap about anyone. He's absolutely hilarious to help him with things. It's been a while since I've read this. I still need to read the 3rd book. But yeah, set in London, magicians, a wisecracking genie who comes in, he's just super sarcastic and really doesn't give a crap about Nathaniel at all. Nathaniel says, I remembered. Very nice. So there you go. That's book number 1 for pigeon. Oh boy, you thought that was a stretch. Oh, just you wait. The second word I got was fire. So, of course, very easy. I'm going to recommend Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nagan. 3rd book is coming out in November. Brief overview. We got a load of girls who are like picked as concubines, kind of like things for the king, and she's picked, they only normally pick, was it 7 or something, and she's like number 8 or something like that because she has like these crazy eyes, and she's picked, they're all taken to like the king's castle kind of lair place, and yeah, there's triggers for like sexual assault and stuff, but it's a fantasy novel about, yeah, it just all kicks off and it's horrible and brutal, but the world building is so good. Anyway, yeah, this one. Next! This one, I thought, I'm never gonna get it. Now some I have missed out, but I tried to get to all of them, but there are a few that I just couldn't. This was going to be one of them. Shoe. I was like, I don't have a copy of Cinderella and I've never read Cinderella, so I'm really sorry I can't pick that one. That's the only one that came into my mind when I thought of shoe. But then I thought, you know, humans wear shoes, right? But animals don't, except one type of animal that does. Horses. Horses wear shoes, therefore I'm going to recommend War Horse by Michael Morpurgo. Why can't I say it? Michael Morpurgo. It's a fantastic book. It's very short and it's all set from the point of view of a horse who has to go off into war, and just seeing like the war and owners that he like really gets close to through the horse's eyes. It's a real heartbreaking read, but also it'll make you smile a lot as well. So there you go. Horses wear shoes. Why the hell not? The next word I got was spiral. I tried to look at book covers to see if we had some sort of spiral action going on. We did not. But then I thought The Shining by Stephen King, because you get to go with Jack as he spirals into madness at this hotel. I swear, I'm pushing, I know I'm pushing it. This is the stupidest video I've ever made, but just bear with me. One of my favourite books of all time, absolutely fantastic. The Overlook Hotel, Jack and his family go, there's shit going on, it's creepy, it's spooky, there's actual things in this book that actually give me chills when I read them, which has never happened, but it's more so getting into the mind of Jack as he's wandering this hotel, learning more about it, things start getting really strange and weird, and you like get inside of Jack's head, and it's so good. And by the way, if you watched the film and didn't like it, I agree. The film was absolutely terrible. I'm sure it was good for its day, but it holds nothing to the book at all. The next word I got was coffee. I couldn't think of a darn thing to do, and then I looked at this book and I was like, it just makes sense, in my head anyway, to recommend This Is Gonna Hurt by Adam Kay, because he's very tired. It's all about, you know, the secret diaries of a junior doctor, about him working and moving up to be like a gynecologist and things like that, working labour wards. It's a funny, heartbreaking, eye-opening tale of the NHS and what it's like to work as a junior doctor. And he was always tired because he worked so many damn hours, and I'm sure he needed a lot of coffee to make it through his shifts. So there you go. God, I am good. The next word was peach, and this one came to me straight away. I don't know why, maybe it's because I've just done a reread of it, but I'm going to recommend Dead Man Walking by Gianna Darling, because B, our heroine in this, always eats fuzzy, sour peach sweets. It is her, isn't it? Yeah, it's her sister who has the lollipops, the cherry lollipops, and I swear, yes, it is B, who eats fuzzy peach sweets. And it is a MC romance between Priest and B, and Priest is a fully fledged psychopath. He's the enforcer for the motorcycle club, so you know, if they need to get rid of someone, Priest steps in. He's a psychopath, he doesn't care, he loves a good kill, he'll get rid of them. And B is like the complete polar opposite to him. She's always like dressed brightly coloured. She's such a ray of sunshine, eating her little peach fizzes, and it's like a crazy, spicy, sexy love story of how they come together and how B has always loved him and will always accept what he is, who he is, whether he can give her everything she gives him. She understands that he might not be able to, and it's just great. It's fantastic. I love this book. Then we have Frozen. For Frozen, this is really easy because I just read it, and that is Kingdom of the Curse by Kerry Maniscalco. Now, I'm not going to say too much about this. I did a whole vlog about this because it only came out a week ago, but hell is a frozen cold place. Who'd have thunk, eh? And that's where we are. But don't read this until you've read the first one, Kingdom of the Wicked, but this is the second book in the series, and yes, it's very, very cold. There you go. I am good at this. Then we had Window. This one was too easy. The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. Haven't read this in ages. Don't watch the movie. Oh my god, me and my friend watched the movie. Don't watch it. It's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah. Cool story, a little bit of a thriller about a therapist who lives at home, does her therapy sessions from home. She can't leave her house ever, and she just stares out the window and like spies on all of her neighbours. She knows everything about anyone, and then she witnesses something over the road in another person's house. Something terrible happens, and she's like, oh my god, but she can't leave her house to do anything about it, and then no one believes her when she tries to tell people, and it's like a big mind bend thing. But yeah, decent thriller, Window. Done. Oh, I was so proud of myself for this one. The next cue was Freckle. And I was like, Freckle, like so many heroines have freckles, but I couldn't think of one of them. Then, I didn't want to just pick a heroine that had freckles. I was like, come on, Lee, think. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. She has, I think it's 7 freckles. They're like, are like a constellation across her face. And they're the first thing anyone notices about her. And as soon as I remembered that, I was like, oh my god, that is perfect. Freckles, Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. All about a girl who makes a deal with the devil. And she asks for more time. So he grants her immortality, but in return, no one will ever remember her. So she'll leave a room, come back in, and everyone's like, who are you? Like, it just goes. They'll forget her instantly. So she'll never have a legacy. She'll never find love. She'll never make lifelong friends or anything like that. So it's a really good book. Would recommend. Oh my god, we gotta get through. Girth. For the love of God, Girth. You dirty bastards. I mean, any romance novel really. However, any alien romance by Ruby Dixon, because all of the male aliens in her books have really, really, really girthy shoulders. Like, they're really wide and huge. Yeah, so there you go. You're welcome. This one, Tooth. And then it clipped. Tooth, teeth. Biting, teeth biting. So I was like, any kind of vampire-y kind of novel, and then I was like, it was closest to me, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout, because, you know, it's funny, because they'll be like, oh, I love this, like, vampire book. I'm like, it's a vampire book? Like, it's one of my favourite books. I'm like, it's a vampire book? I'm like, oh, it's funny how you get into this world and it doesn't feel like vampires, you know what I mean? Anyway, there's a lot of biting in this. We like the biting. Very good biting. Teeth, tooth. The next prompt was sorcery, so I'm going to recommend Master of Crows by Grace Straven. All about this dark, cool, like, sorcerer, magician guy who's being taunted by one of the gods called corruption, and it's kind of sending him mad because he wants him to do his bidding, and he's like trying to fight it, and then a girl comes in undercover to try and like reveal his secrets. Why did she go undercover? I can't actually remember now. Is it to reveal his secrets or something? Anyway, it's an enemies to lover, false proximity, and she goes undercover as his apprentice, and he has to train her to bring her magic out of her, and it's really good. Peanuts. Bear with me. Some people can have peanuts, and some people can't. And if this place exists, some people will go to heaven, and some people just won't. So the 5 people you meet in heaven by Mitch Albom is the clear option for peanuts. You see where I'm going with this? I know, my logic is absolutely flawless. A fantastic novel, one of my favourite books of all time. It made me cry my eyes out, and we follow Eddie, and at the start of the book, it's not a spoiler, he dies. He dies and he goes to heaven, and you meet 5 people from your life in heaven that somehow impacted you throughout your journey, throughout your life. They made some sort of impact. They could have been really close, or you might never have known them. You might have glimpsed them once, and you find out their story of something that happened and like the butterfly effect of how it changed your life. And your life is explained to you basically at the end by these 5 people who had a really big impact on it, whether you knew it or not. and then you can pass on into like proper paradise. It's an amazing book. Peanuts! Next one was purple, and I'm just gonna go for Neon Gods by Katie Robert because it's got purple on the cover. You're welcome. I was just on Goodreads, like purple, or something purple. It's the first one that popped up. It's like a Hades and Persephone retelling, saucy, spicy, it's more modern day, but yeah, really enjoyed it. Oh my god, I got so many. Lozenge, like a cough sweet, right? Well, why'd you take them? Because you got a sore throat. Why'd you have a sore throat? I hope my parents don't watch these videos. I know my mum does. You might have a sore throat from screaming, or anything really. There's many reasons you could get a sore throat. So Your Dad Will Do by Katie Robert as well. Short, like high spice, low plot, just a short, steamy erotica novel. I'm sure she had a sore throat after all that, I mean. And demonetized. Next word was Gloat, and I'm going to recommend The Dare by Hayley LaRue. Is it Hayley LaRue? Hold on, let me check my notes. Harley LaRue, idiot. Harley LaRue, The Dare. Again, this is a dark, not for everyone kind of book. Like a dark erotica novel. It is on Scribd as a PDF, not an ebook. It's weird. I think this was banned on Amazon, and it's about Manson, and I can't remember her name for the life of me. Hold on, what was her name? Jessica and Manson. And Jessica used to bully Manson and taunt him in high school, and then they like meet up later on, a little bit later on in life. They're playing beer pong, and she loses, and he dares her to be his slave for the night. And she's like, she wants it, and she's like, yeah, okay. And yeah, it's there are clowns involved, three clowns, I think. People don't like that scene. It didn't actually bother me because I'm not scared of clowns. But yeah, it's filthy and dark and not for everyone. And hold on, why did it relate to gloat? Oh, he was gloating because like, obviously she used to taunt him back in high school, and now he had all this like control over her. Did enjoy it, and enjoyed the discussions on like he checked in with her. Like it gets intense, the scenes that they play out in this, be warned. I love how he checks in and the consent is like checked upon throughout. So yeah, it's just a dirty dark read with clowns. Anywho, Mom, please stop watching these videos. Camembert. Cheese. Some people find self-help books cheesy, you know? But one that isn't cheesy is The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. It's one of my favourite self-help books when she talks about her really good technique of like getting out of your own head and kind of stopping anxiety in its tracks so you can have a moment to breathe. And it's something that really helped me actually to kind of calm myself and also spring myself into action, obviously alongside actual like CBT and therapy and things like that. But it's one of the best books I've read that actually had a really big impact, and it's like something that I still use today, this little technique. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but yeah, Mel Robbins, I really do love her, and there's a lot of science in this book that backs up everything she says, which I fully appreciate, and I believe all self-help books should be backed by actual science. So yeah, really great read if you're interested. Grape. Grape into wine. Wine into holy wine. Now, how does that happen? I'm guessing it has to be blessed. Who then blesses it to become like a holy wine? A priest. So I'm recommending Priest by Sierra Simone. Oh, I had so much fun trying to figure out how to recommend books for these words. From Grape to Priest. We made it. It's like the Wikipedia challenge. Yes, it's a forbidden romance of a priest called Tyler, who falls in love with a woman called Poppy, who comes to his congregation because she wants to find her way back to God, and he falls in love with her, and obviously he shouldn't because he's a priest, and it is sexy. And whilst I always say this, like, I didn't like where the storyline went, it was hot. It was really hot, this book. And yeah, it was really good. Grape into Priest. I am proud of myself. Delicious. Now I just, at this point, when I got a word like this, I was like, right, who is like one of the heroes from a romance novel that I'm like, yes. So I know I bring it up in almost every video, but when Heroes Fall by Gianna Darling, all about the capo of the mafia in New York, and we have a grumpy sunshine dynamic. He's the sunshine for once, and the grump is the criminal defense lawyer that is assigned to his case because he's put on house arrest, you know, a myriad of crimes because he's the capo mafia boss person. But oh, he is delicious. Angsty, enemies to lovers, not really enemies really, but like not like hate to love kind of thing, and he's very nice. It's a duet, there's 2 books, so would recommend both of them. Next word was Wisp. This one wasn't too hard. I just tried to think of a character that might be very small of frame, and actually the book I literally finished this morning, It Ain't Me Babe by Tilly Cole, which is fantastic. I loved it. I can't wait to carry on the series. She is a wisp of a woman. She's very tiny and delicate. Loads of trigger warnings, dark MC romance, all about Styx and May, and she's lived in a cult her entire life, and he's part of a motorcycle gang, and she just turns up one day like bloody and stuff, at his compound because she escapes the cult, and it's rough, and there's so many triggers for like child sexual assault and things in the past, like things that have happened to her in this cult, and it's like so many content warnings for this book, but I absolutely loved it. It was a dark, deep, crazy story. Yeah, she's obviously really frail and small and things like that, so I chose that one for this one. That one for this one. We're almost there. Okay, Spinach. Don't give me food. You gave me so much food. Spinach. What am I meant to do with spinach except make maybe a nice tart of some sort? So spinach, bear with me. Spinach is grown in the ground, right? Yeah, Wikipedia challenge all over again. Spinach is grown in the ground. Farming. People have to do the farming for the spinach. Yes. Well, I thought, where is a book with farming? And the book that I really like that has the worst cover in the world and a pretty terrible title, but don't judge it by its cover because it's a great book. I Married a Lizard Man by, hold on, can never remember her name, Regine Abel. It's an alien romance. The cover, just don't even bother, just read it. It's really good. I promise you it's really good. Alien romance, a heroine, human heroine, goes onto like a dating site to try and find someone because her older sister will inherit the farm that she's been on and she can't inherit anything, so she needs to find a husband. They get matched together, lizard man and a heroine. She goes, lives with him, and she has to help them like start farming again, but they're super reluctant, so she has to kind of do it in secret. But they're like running out of food, but you'll find out why they don't want to farm and things like that. They're like hunters, they're like apex predators and things like that. They don't farm, and there's a deeper story to it. But yeah, farming, and I'm sure she planted spinach. I'm pretty sure anyway. 2 more to go. The next one is Pendulum. So I was like, pendulum, pendulum, clock. Do I have a picture of a clock on a book cover? No, I do not, apparently, which I was like, that is strange. I probably didn't even look hard enough, but I don't think I do. So I was like, time, pendulum, clock, time, stand still in the Midnight Library by Matt Haig. All about a woman who gets to go into a magical library and live certain aspects of her life if she'd have just changed one thing. If she'd have done this, these regrets that are a mile long, if she'd have just done that, how would have her life turned out? She gets to pick out a book in the library and go and live that life. To see what would truly have happened to her and what her life would have been like if she'd have said yes or if she said no and made a different decision. It's really good. Time stands still in the Midnight Library, but then time starts ticking again. You gotta make things are gonna happen, you know? It's good. I'm glad that explanation came out well. What was the last one? Pickles. Pickles. Not for everyone. You can love them, you can hate them. I love them. Just like I love this book, but it probably ain't for everyone. I just picked a dark romance, because any dark romance you could pick and be like, it might not be for everyone. And that is Dark Notes by Pam Godwin, and this is a seriously next level mess of stuff that happens. So many trigger warnings you have got to check, but a beautiful story. It's age gap, it's teacher student, and it's probably one of my favorite. Like, I put it above, even though I rank them insane, I put it above Lessons in Sin, because it's just such a touching story of this girl who is abused, has to sell her body from a young age to make ends meet, and that's all she knows her body for, is to sell it for sex by men. And there is sexual assault in this, and it's awful, and she's so poor, and the last thing her dad gave her before he died was like tuition money to go to like this really amazing prestigious music school because she wants to be a musician. And that's where she meets her new piano teacher. She notices how beaten up she is and like scruffy for school, and he's really harsh with her. He's like, do you want me to feel sorry for you? But you can tell deep down he's like fuming, and he like starts to investigate what is going on in her home life, which is really bad. Like, the book opens up with sexual assault. Like, it's a rough book, but it's one of the most beautiful stories I've ever read. You can't tell me any different. I don't care. I love this book, but it won't be for everyone. And please check the triggers. There's so many. Okay. There you go. Did you like it? Did I do good? Should I do it again? So there you go. There are just under 30, I think, recommendations that I pulled out of my arse. Let's be real. But I hope this was a bit of fun. I don't know. I don't know why I did this, but I did, and it's here. And you're welcome. And I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you thought on my recommendations. I didn't stray too far from the assignment, did I? Nah. I mean, grapes to priest, that was good. Shoes to horses, it's just common sense, really.